trailer for Black Widow. Well, first of all, back in this room, that's fine. It will be temporary. I will go back to the other room in the future. The other thing is, we finally got MCU movies again. After over a year, 2 Julys ago actually, Spider-Man Far From Home was released, and the unspeakable year happened, 2020, and now we got Black Widow, finally. That movie was delayed last year, from last year to now this year. I don't know how many times the trailer's been released. So many. I don't know how many times the date's been changed for its release, but it doesn't matter. It's here, finally. And it's pretty good. It is pretty good. I wouldn't say it's the MCU's best, but it is pretty good. It's definitely not the MCU's lightest. Wow. Seriously, wow. Oh man, was this movie dark. Especially in the beginning with the opening titles. For me, I'm not used to this. I'm not used to Marvel going this dark route, but it worked. I'm not saying it didn't work, of course it did. It's a good story. It's a good story about Natasha Romanoff. It's set after Civil War, so she's already on the run from the government. This is the beginning of her fugitive days with Captain America and Falcon. But before that, and a little after Civil War's events, she had to go back to her roots. She had to reunite with her fellow Russian family and confront Dreykov in the Red Room. We finally got to see the Red Room. I think it was worth it. I think the payoff for the build-up to what all this is, the Red Room, Dreykov's daughter, I think it all paid off rather well. Although I think, Dreykov's daughter being the one who's actually Taskmaster, I think that, to me, that was a pretty good twist. The reveal that she's actually alive and she's Taskmaster. But I wouldn't say Taskmaster is the best villain in the MCU. Good villain, worthy villain to go up against, I should say. But maybe not the best, and not very three-dimensional. Dreykov was pretty good though. Dreykov himself was menacing. Even if he wasn't on screen for long, I think he proved to be a very menacing foe for Natasha. The protagonists, to go along with Natasha, Yelena. I love Yelena. She's hilarious. And it was quite a surprise to see how funny that Florence Pugh was in this role. Red Guardian 2, Alexei, played by David Harbour. He's my favorite character. Him and Yelena are my favorite characters in this movie. They're both. And while the family, the Natasha, Yelena, Alexei, Melina, while they may not be biologically a real family, it still came across. It was great to see how the dynamic between all of them really worked. It's great to see how they connected in such a way. The actors had really good chemistry, especially in the humorous moments. The dinner scene where I was sitting around and bickering with one another. I'm thinking to myself as I'm watching this scene, yeah, these guys are a family. Good comedic timing, especially from David Harbour and Yelena. The funniest characters in the whole movie, those two right there. I think Natasha got some good closure. The whole time she's confronting Dreykov in his office, which, by the way, they pulled a Mission Impossible when Melina and Natasha disguised as one another. I think that was a nice small twist within the movie. The scene where she's confronting Dreykov in his office is intense and it's a little scary. It's probably just as intense as the actual action scenes. Which, by the way, the action in this movie is pretty great. Which, by the way, this whole movie felt like a Bourne movie, really. It reminded me of the Bourne movies a little bit. In that, you know, she's returning to her dark roots, confronting her past, and trying to gain closure after all the mistakes that this organization, you know, took part in her making. But now she's finally free from it all. I mean, technically this is a prequel and we know what happens to Natasha, what her fate is in Endgame. But now we get a better understanding of how free she really is. And, you know, this movie I think paid off really well. I'm gonna give this movie an 8 out of 10. A good 8 out of 10 from me. So that's it. That's my quick review of Black Widow, the first Marvel movie to come out since the pandemic, you know, during this pandemic. So yeah, there you go. I hope the screen didn't go blurry too much. If it did, sorry. And that's my review. I will see you at the next react. It will probably be a Loki review. I'm not to give any away spoilers. I love Loki. There's so much to talk about. I can't wait to make a review on it, but there's just so much to talk about. See you at the next react.